Welcome to the Woodpreneur Podcast, the best podcast for the business and marketing side of the sawmill, lumber, and wood industry. What's a woodpreneur? If you have a business where you make money as a woodworker, sawmill owner, selling slabs, or a content creator, then you're a woodpreneur. My name's Steve Larosiliere, and I started Woodpreneur Life, Acres of Timber, and the Woodpreneur Podcast just for makers, wood entrepreneurs, and small business owners just like you. We're on a mission to empower thousands of wood businesses to grow sustainably and put out great products. Each week, I interview makers, sawyers, content creators, and 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs that know the wood industry inside and out. With topics covering everything from the urban lumber movement, sustainable sourcing and design, we'll discuss the ins and outs of how to grow, monetize, and fully immerse yourself in the woodpreneur lifestyle. If you're a hobbyist, a full-time wood business owner, part-time entrepreneur who wants to become a content creator, or quit your day job to pursue your dreams, the Woodpreneur Podcast is just for you. Thanks so much for listening. Now enjoy this episode. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Woodpreneur Podcast. This is your host, Steve Larosiliere. Today's guest is Eric Gummer from Thomas Philips Woodworking. How you doing, Eric?
Doing great. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, give us the backstory. How did Thomas Philips Woodworking come to be?
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess back in like high school, I kind of, enjoyed woodworking and, probably never thought I'd do as a career or anything, but just whatever, like the shop class and kind of opened up a few doors. The first was there's a cabinet shop just down the street from the school. They're super busy, more a production shop, like did condos and that, but they had a night shift. I'd go to school and at 3:00, whenever I got out, I'd walk down. This is grade 10. I'd walk down there and to do a night shift work till it was like 8:30 or something at night, and so I almost got full-time hours while still in high school. So, it wasn't what I thought woodworking was. It was more production. Like I said, just they'd pump out. What they do is amazing. Like they'll do, pump out 300 boxes a day kind of thing. Like but tailing an edge bander wasn't what you have fun doing. But stuck with it, and then I got another job came up through the school. My shop teacher got me in contact with a company that did yacht interiors. Doesn't get much higher end than that as far as woodworking, $1 million boats. So did that for a bit. Unfortunately, that market is not everyone's buying these $20 million yachts, right? So they'd get a boat and they staff up. We create beautiful work projects done. They lay people off. So I got laid off actually right in the summer, just after graduating. So I thought it was pretty sweet. I could collect the eye and live at home. And my dad had other thoughts. He had a list of chores. So anyways, that got me back working pretty quick. And I went to my hockey coach back when I was younger, had a cabinet company. So, I approached him and said, hey, I like woodworking, so he hired me on the spot. And I worked there for, I think, 7 or 8 years, did my apprenticeship. I don't know what they have down in the States, but apprenticeship up in Canada or in British Columbia, you do 6 weeks of school a year and then you do the rest of it's on-site training. So, and then you do, basically that's 4 years. And then when you're done, you do your exam. And then if you pass that, you're a ticketed joiner is the trade that I am. So I did that, and then that company, it ended up selling, and then there's just it changed. I wasn't enjoying it too much anymore, and started exploring different opportunities, and a couple came around, then didn't really work out. But then the yacht place that I worked at back in high school, they got a big contract and were hiring again. So I read that in the paper actually. Then I'm like, showing up, and again, they hired me on the spot, and then worked there for a bit, and then kind of realized I want to do my own thing. So
how old are you at that?
I'm 20. What am I? 25 at that time.
Wow.
And then so I contacted a guy. Well, actually, while all this sort of was happening too, my parents wanted to renovate their kitchen.
Okay.
So I basically said, don't
pay for
me.
Oh yeah.
Give me your garage and buy me some tools. So I set up a little shop in their garage of the house I grew up in. small 20 by 20 garage, but it worked. And then so now I had a little shop. I did their kitchen. That led to some of their family or some of their friends wanting kitchens too. And anyways, that got me thinking I can maybe give this a go, and contacted a guy I used to work with, and he recently got laid off. This is all happened around 2008 or no, sorry, 2010. And as you get in the market wasn't very good. So, bit of a recession even up here. So things weren't as busy, but there's only two guys. So we were able to stay busy enough. So anyways, we connected, did some projects together. Then we finally were like, let's make a go for this. And so that's my business partner today. The name is Thomas Philips Woodworking. It's his middle name's Thomas, my middle name's Philips. But this sort of, my wife actually put it all together, the branding and stuff, and we kind of like the look of it. It looks classy. So it's sort of how we got started. And we just sort of started doing some projects. He had a garage, my parents had a garage. We started doing that, and then we were at that point we need to make a leap and get a proper shop. And we found one, and we negotiate 3 months free rent. So first 3 months we're gonna be free. And we basically said if we can't get work at 3 months, it's not meant to be. Yeah. So we pounded the pavement, knocked on a lot of doors, and we took on anything. A lot of crappy jobs, but jobs were jobs. And we just sort of worked away from there. First guy we hired was the guy we used to work with, and he's still with us today, 12 years. He's been our longest employee, and he sort of runs the shop now. But that's sort of how Thomas Philips came to be. Sort of all fell in place. Like I said, didn't ever think I'd do woodworking as a career. My dad was a police officer. I thought maybe I'd go in that direction. All these doors sort of happened, and then I started enjoying it, and then
that's cool.
Here we are.
Yeah, so Derek is the partner that you were talking about.
Yeah, Derek's my partner. Yeah,
and then Tristan is the guy.
Chris, so he's he's trying to be on the website. Yeah, so he's the foreman, and then we have, I think there's 18 of us total, like including myself.
Congrats! That's so cool.
So it's grown a bit. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been, it's been a huge learning, still learning tons. Like we're not business people, we're trades, like a lot of people. You're a woodworker and you like it and you want to do your own thing. Well, woodworking's a different ballgame than running the business. Yeah, and all
absolutely.
Those absolutely aspects. So it's been a big learning curve. Like, it's funny, I love woodworking, but I'm never in the shop anymore. Like, which it does make fun when you start working on your own stuff. It's like, okay, it's not as much working. Like, you used to work in the shop, 8+ hours a day. And then the weekend, if you want to do something, it just felt you're at work. I'm in the office. And then when I'm back in the shop, it's more enjoyable again than it is when you're doing it all.
Before I looked at your website, and I saw like where I was going to talk to. I thought I was going to talk to Thomas Philips, and
we get that phone call a lot. Is Thomas there? It's like, oh, he's not.
But at the same time, I think what it set it up. It's like it positions it to be a lot bigger. Like Thomas Philips Woodworking, like literally sounds like, like a legacy brand. It feels bigger, and like I mean, you guys have been around since 2008, right? Is that when you started?
No, the business actually got incorporated in 2012.
12.
So we started doing like our, side jobs in the, here and there, still working full time, but just doing some side projects. Around 2008 to, it wouldn't be much. It'd be like one kitchen, couple kitchens a year at most.
Yeah.
And then finally, well, let's just make it go. And so that was 2012. We incorporated.
I mean,
legit.
It is. I mean, the work is beautiful, and it feels like it sets it apart, right? Like, and you've actually created, especially at 18 people, you created an asset within that time that, like, it's not really attached to your name, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And that's, I think that's what kind of liked, like, that's where we kind of struggled when we were coming up with the name. And I'm Eric, he's Derek. It's like, well, Derek and Eric woodworking sounds stupid. So, so we tried, and, we threw in a bunch of stuff. And, like I said, my wife one day just sort of presented this, branding. She was kind of going to school and had some working on a bit of marketing, and she created that the kind of the logo was very simple to start name really, but it sort of so she kind of presented that. I'm like, I like it, and then I sent it to Eric, and he's like, yeah, perfect. And then
Tell how did those first couple of years, how'd you get jobs?
like I said, like a lot of it was just and people we knew. Like actually, one of the first jobs we got, and it was still one of we entered into an award. Like it was literally the realtor that helped us find the shop. He was like, "Oh, my buddy's actually renovating this house. Just give him a call." So he kind of connected us, and then it ended up being like a huge project, especially just the two of us at the time. It was like 100-year-old house they're fully restoring. And then that kind of, we made a few contacts with some of the carpenters on site there. And then, a lot of just knocking on designers' doors and kind of reaching out to any old contractor contacts that we had. Like it was tough, like to, a lot of contractors knew already had relationships with other millwork shops. I wasn't trying to steal, but we were just sort of like, throwing it out there. Hey, we're here. And it's tough for guys to jump ship to, a company they've worked with a long time to some two guys that just started out.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of small jobs. Like a lot of the guys we actually work with now were similar age and still up and coming the same time we were. Like, and they've created a huge name for themselves in the custom home world. And so we've all come up together, which is kind of cool. And so we're doing a little bathroom. Yeah, like we started doing little bathroom vanities for them. And that was all they did. They just do little bathroom rentals here and there. And now they're doing, multi-million-dollar homes. And so, we've all come up sort of the same time. And good contacts and good designers. We've had some good designers have been really loyal and same with builders.
How did you start to think about what you were going to focus on in terms of product? Like what, like, you know what I mean? Cause how shiny object, or like, oh, I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this. And you literally could do anything. Like, how did you focus on what you were going to be the best at?
So I think, like all my training was in custom cabinetry, custom homes, residential. We knew we weren't going to be able to compete with the big guy. Like I just, you get these companies like the one I used to work at in high school that had the night shift. Like they were, they got millions of dollars of startup, like to buy the CNCs and all that. I mean, we just knew we weren't going to be able to do that. So like the smaller residential custom home is sort of what we started out with. And we knew we could do that with the tooling we had, the manpower we had. And, obviously things have grown and we're able to take on bigger jobs now. But at the time that was sort of, what I knew from working for previous shops and then what we're capable of. And like we've dabbled into multi-units like townhouse complexes and stuff like that. And we can do it, but it's a lot just because we're geared up for the single family custom home. Like every job we do is like a prototype, right? So that's sort of that's what we like doing. It's more fun than, producing the same kitchen, 100 different times kind of thing. And then, as far as the other end, maybe like custom furniture and stuff like that. And as much as that would be awesome to do, it's a tough to get going.
So hard.
So, this is sort of the good balance. It was, what we're comfortable with, what we're capable of, and, pay the bills.
Pay the bills. What was that first critical hire in the business that helped you take off?
And that I'd say, I would have been Tristan. Someone you can trust, that because especially those early years, like we need to get work as much as I need to be in the shop. Like I was dedicating a few days a week, just knocking on doors, so that freed up me to do that, having someone at the shop. I know it's still producing, so that was good that we can leave someone at the shop. I know stuff's getting done. It's going to get done right. And then I can go and knock on doors and sell and all that. And, I'd still, do probably a couple days a week, just pounding the pavement and making those connections. And then, the rest would be in the shop. And we didn't have a designer back then. So I was sort of wearing a bunch of hats. I'd be design it, on the computer, go at the shop, build it, try to sell it. We'd install it. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. You're doing literally from start to finish, but from drawing to the install, but you can only do that for so long if you want to grow the company. So yeah, it was, and then our second hire, he's still with us too. We needed just want to find like a younger kid that's interested in the trade and that can help work with Tristan in the shop. And so we hired someone. He was right out of high school. He was like 18 at the time. Yeah, we put him through the apprenticeship program. So he's ticketed. He's one of our main guys.
You created your own apprenticeship program?
No, the British Columbia has an apprenticeship program, so we put him in that. So he went to the trade school, BCIT, in the Lower Mainland there in Vancouver. So he'd go there. Yeah, so he went through that program.
How do you differentiate yourself? Well, how do you, between you and your partner Derek, like how do you split up tasks? Like what are you responsible for? What is he responsible for?
6 years ago, we sort of changed how had it structured, because at the beginning, it was he'd have his own projects, I'd have my own projects. We'd each deal with the clients, and then, we'd work on the shop together. But it kind of got a bit of a scheduling nightmare because, we'd both, be scheduling and things were overlapping and they got complicated. So we switched to, I'm sort of manage the shop and the office. And he's more on site, managing the crews on site and make sure they got what they want, they have. So, I'll sort of meet with the clients and do the scheduling, and then he'll be in the field dealing with we have half a dozen jobs on the go kind of at any given time out there. So yeah, he's sort of running around most of the time, deal with clients, putting out hot fires, make sure the installer's got what they want, and he's got a fully stocked vehicle, so he'll do some install as well. But yeah.
What about in terms of like, so if we talked about like what your first critical hire, what was one of the best investments that you made in your business that really took off?
Best investment, other than like the people, I would say, like we got some good, like we got a good panel saw. That was like when just able to, just cut a lot more, a lot faster. You always want to upgrade.
Did you get a CNC?
We don't have a CNC. There's a guy that's just 5 minutes away from our shop, just down they have a CNC, so we kind of work with them when we're at capacity and need extra help.
Mm-hmm.
They'll CNC our boxes and that kind of thing. But then we'll just make sure we're cutting the pretty stuff, like the doors and the panels, crown, kind of all the stuff you see.
Yeah. What about
and I think like our shop we're currently in, well, we have 2 locations, but when we made the jump from our first original shop and we got a new shop that was twice the size, still not big enough now, but at the time that was a big investment too. Like we went from just having basically a 2,000 square foot shop with a little office in the corner. So now we got a bit of a showroom and, a meeting room, just a bigger facility so we could house more staff, increase production. So that was a good investment as well. Obviously, we all grew up fairly quick, so we have another location too that they basically build us assembling boxes.
Yeah.
And storing the boxes, whereas the main shop's cutting all the finished parts. We had the spray booth in there.
Yeah.
And the little showroom.
Are you doing a lot of kitchens lately?
Yeah, like that's sort of what we're geared up for. Majority of it's kitchens and just architectural millwork, I guess.
Yeah. How are you? How's this year going for you?
Good. Yeah, like the COVID years, the 2020, kind of the 2022 were crazy busy. Like it was, I don't know what it was like down south, but in British Columbia, definitely Vancouver Island, it was by far the busiest we've ever been. Too busy, to be honest. Like it was way, you told me we were, doing 20% more sales that made less money at the end of the day. I think you're crazy, but that was reality. Materials were
way expensive.
Just going, like I quote a job and, I could typically, it's going to go up like 3 to 5% in 5 months when we get to the job. Well, it's going up like 150%.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
took a little bit of a haircut on that kind of thing. We could not find staff. So we had our core, which is great. And then we're hiring almost anyone would have come in that we could hire. We're subbing out a lot of stuff just to keep up the demand, and all that stuff costs a lot of money. And it just, you kind of got away from me because you're just so busy. You're just, burning the candle at both ends. And then at the end of the year, when you kind of go through everything, you're like, why did we do that?
What?
I was working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. And it's like, we made the same amount of money at the end of the day than we did when we were just, so naturally the market's kind of slowed down to a more normal level. So, cause it's good. Cause me and my partner are talking, we need to take on less. We can't do that again. Like, it was stupid, So we're like, okay, so 2023, we said, okay, we're going to take on less. Naturally, the market kind of went there. So it made it easy because I have a hard time saying no sometimes. When someone comes to the door and they want work, it's like, well, yeah, we'll get it done for you. And one way now we get it done, but it's
not so easy. Yeah.
Stressing out and not sleeping. Yeah. But yeah.
How does it?
So yeah, and then the market, so that's what it's been, 2024 has kind of been, we're basically on par to 2023 for sales and all those numbers. And
I mean, you've been doing this for going on 13 years now, right? Like what does growth look like, for the next 13?
Yeah, I think when you touched, if we have the CNC, that is something we need to, because like I said, we're getting a company just near us to do it, and they've been great, and that's sort of what they do. But I know I'm leaving money on the table, right? When I not doing it in-house. So, but getting the CNC requires us getting a bigger space. It's not like I didn't get the CNC. There's a lot of parts that got to fall into place. So I'd say that would be our goal is, get a location. One location would be nice too. Like I said, we have 2 shops right now. It works fine. Like we're, it's only literally a minute drive down the road. So it's not like we're on the other side of town. But obviously being in all the same building is better. So yeah, getting the same building, getting a CNC, and just being able to produce more without relying on subcontractors or other companies to keep it all in house and streamline production, I guess, best we can. Like, yeah, that's the short term goal, and then I don't know, 13 years. I don't know where I'll be at, but it's, at that point, that's next 5 years. That's kind of what the goal is.
So it sounds like increasing productivity is probably the goal, right?
Yeah, and I guess increasing productivity in our own
location
ourselves. Like like I said, right now we're subbing out stuff, and it'd be nice to eliminate that and just keep it all in house. As far as production in the company, like what we put out the door, it'll probably look the same, but we'll be able to do more just in shop.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Do you envision yourself ever having like a 40-person company?
Probably not. We got up to 24, and that was a lot. It was, payroll gets very expensive each month.
Yeah.
At 18, it's very expensive each month.
Yeah.
And I think I really care about all our staff. So like, laying people, like I know I've worked with companies that it's huge, but they had no problem just laying people off and here and there. And I if I'm hiring people, we got to have the work, because you're gonna stay with us, you're gonna work with us. And I just feel with 40 people, especially in a custom cabinet shop in our, demographic of where, like Vancouver Island, like it's a growing place, but that would be by far the biggest custom shop on the island.
Yeah,
they're kind of all around. Like we're probably, as far as in the custom millwork shop, is probably on the bigger
end
side.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot that do similar style, like similar product as us, but they might be more like 8 guys kind of thing, and still do beautiful product, but they can just take on a little less.
So you were just saying that a lot of folks are like, you're probably on the bigger side of the custom shops in your area.
Yeah, like we're a little bit bigger. We can take on a little more production on the custom side, and I think if we grew, like, we'd have to take a lot of the market and yeah, like double our size of shop, and
Yeah.
it'd be a lot to do. And I don't want to sacrifice the quality we are known for production.
Yeah.
So I think I'm kind of like the size we are right now. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying against growth, but, and again, if we do decide to do a CNC, and you're probably gonna have to add some staff to run that part of the business. So
Yeah.
as far as 40, no, yeah,
That sounds crazy, right? Yeah. Cool. All right. So
because it is like it.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's just it's expensive to have employees. The amount, taxes and all, paying sick time and all this kind of stuff, it adds up. Like it's expensive. So, there's sort of a fine line, and you have the staff you need that you can take care of. To now, if you're getting too big, I feel everyone sort of might suffer.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
what you can offer them.
For sure. It also feels like it's an undue stress that you don't necessarily need, because you're designed to be optimal and everybody being productive. And at a certain point, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You have diminishing returns. It's like at 40, you probably know yourself enough to, like, you won't sleep at night and you'll be thinking about the person that's not doing the job. And you're like, why am I paying that person? And like, so.
Well, it was funny, like when we were funny. When in that 2022 year where I said we were at 25 guys and we're going to scale back a bit, we had a few guys sort of quit early in the new year and found different jobs, and we never replaced them. I'm like, what? Like, it's crazy. Like, that did we not need them before? Like when you're busy and you're just kind of trying to keep above, your head afloat, you don't really realize maybe not everyone's pulling their weight. Like like I said, we have our core group that's just amazing. But then when we were busy, we're just sort of hiring guys that came in the door just to keep up. And then I think slowly realized we didn't need them, but we never did anything about it. And then, when they ended up quitting, it was like, oh, we haven't have to replace them.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Cool. All right. So this is the part of the podcast where I give you any marketing or business advice. Is there anything that you need help with? Anything that I could help you brainstorm on, or challenges that you need extra set of eyes and ears on?
I guess it's like, without actually seeing our business, it's when do you make that leap to go to get the CNC and put it that $100,000 plus, dollar investments. And, it's really easy to find reasons not to do it. And it's sort of, when do we just finally shit or get off the pot?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Make that,
but it doesn't,
which I don't,
well, I guess my question is like, isn't the like the CNC really come with the building where everybody is together? Like, don't you need that first?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's just it. Yeah. So it's a whole big, we need to move buildings, and and obviously there's never a perfect time to do that, but I guess that would be, I don't know if you could help with that, but
well,
that's where I'm struggling is, when do we make that leap? And, I guess, as far as marketing in that sense.
Well, here's what I'm thinking is that one is like, your work is incredible. So like, there's the thing is like, you don't want to get too big, but you need to show the growth in order for you to feel confident to take the leap in getting a bigger space or taking out another mortgage. Do you own where you are now, those two spaces, or are you renting?
No, we rent those.
You rent those. Okay. So the question,
8,000 square feet total.
So the question you need to ask yourself is, I mean, on a business investment, does it make more economical sense to consolidate and have something that you own on a balance sheet? And then while you're taking out that mortgage, right, for the new place, could you slide in the CNC in there, right? And then feeling more comfortable going out and knocking on doors to get more projects and so that you can, get more people, or not get more people to make that bigger investment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it kind of got broken up a bit there, but yeah, basically get the space, and then in the goal to get the CNC and then upgrade the machinery
Exactly.
at a later date. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, because there's
and I think that's baby steps kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, but like maybe 2025 is the year where you just start looking at buildings, and then you're like, all right, I think we could do this. Because oftentimes, when you look at real estate and buildings, it's just a dollars and cents type of thing. Like how much you're paying in rent now, you're not getting any equity towards it. And then if you decide to sell your business in the future, now you have this amazing asset on your balance sheet that you could either rent out to the new people that own the business, or you just sell it. And then you have, a bigger windfall. Right. And so that's the first thing. And then because if you actually think about it too, like what is it, 20% down? I mean, I know British Columbia isn't cheap in terms of real estate, but like, you'll probably need, I don't know, an extra 200 grand, 300 grand to put down, right? Like,
yeah, you're probably a shop that we're looking, it would be, the 1.52 million kind of.
So at 20% down, now you're looking at like 200 grand, right? 200 to 300 grand.
Yeah.
In your head, that's 3 kitchens, right? Like 3 or 4 kitchens. And so it's actually probably more feasible to just start squirreling away that down payment and start looking at it. And then you could probably, either take some personal or get an investor to loan you the money for the down payment, and then like add the math up. It's just like, because the other thing that you could do is while you're looking for it, go out and just market the hell out of your company. Because the other thing that I'm looking at is like, dude, your work is so beautiful. I'm just surprised that you literally don't have more followers, like way more followers.
That's the one I'm not.
You got 18 people.
That world is sort of foreign to me.
Who's doing the posting? Is it you?
That's just me. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other part too is that like you have 18 people. That's 18 stories. You're like, you could be selling way more if people knew who you were. You know what I mean? Like, you could have fun with the business and say like, make up a fake, Thomas Philips, right? Like, you know what I mean? Just like, you can have so much more fun with your business in terms of marketing and branding. But I know it's like, you're Canadian, you're humble, you want your work to speak for itself, right? Like, you don't want to be too braggy, but like, if you got one of the biggest shops on the island, like you should literally just flex on that a lot more. And there are a lot of,
it's far from the biggest shop in the island, but as far as custom world, it's I'd say on the bigger side, but and I have no problem bragging about it work. That's why I feel like social media is people bragging. I don't like doing that personally, but for a business,
we kind of have to do it. Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like, there are other cabinet shops there are other home builders and remodelers and even individuals that want your work. They just don't know that you exist. Right. And so for me, I would look to see if you can upgrade your marketing, because if you can upgrade your marketing and you start getting more inquiries, more quotes, and more bids putting out, that'll give you the confidence to be like, hey, look, I just took 10% deposits on these projects that are going to come in the next 6 to 12 months. I need to start looking at bigger places. And then you're more confident. You're more of a safer bet for a mortgage. You've been in business for 12 years. You've got great work. You've got great relationships. You already have equipment, so you could potentially take out an equipment loan on your current equipment now, right? Like, you have cash flow there. You just have to just kind of pull it out and in your head justify like what that would look like. Because if you're saying like, okay, in the next 5 years, I want to have everything in-house, like how much, I'm just curious, how much are you paying out that you could be collecting in? right now? I'm just curious. Just throw out a number.
Yeah, per month in CNC work, we're probably on average about 30,000 a month.
That pays for a CNC and your down payment. Literally, that pays for a CNC and a down payment.
Yeah, like obviously there's material like
For sure.
involved there, and obviously the labor.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Is that helpful?
Yeah, no, of course it is. Yeah,
Cool.
Any advice is good advice.
Awesome. Not all advice is good advice, but I just want to make sure that it's helpful.
Oh, yes, fair enough.
Cool. Well, why don't you tell everybody your website and your Instagram so they can follow your beautiful work?
So yeah, the website's thomasphillipswoodworking.com. Just one L in Phillips. Everyone screws that one up. ThomasPhilips woodworking.com. And then Instagram's just at Thomas Philips Woodworking.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Derek, for your time. And tell Thomas we said hi.
Thanks for having me. It's just good to chat about woodworking and business. And yeah, it's fun.
For sure. Tell Thomas I said hi. So
yeah, will do.
all right, man. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Take care. Thanks.